my dad had always worked in an oil company in the banking department, right? And I think he wanted me to be an economist, and I was bought a suit and packed off to the trading floors, and it was fine, it's exciting. But I wanted to work in ideas. And then after I finished university, I didn't take one of those graduate jobs. I thought I'll just start at the bottom and, I had a sales job in a design company, and nothing much. And then I thought I'd better get serious, and there's a list of marketing jobs. And I kind of went, sales, account guy, ugh. I haven't got enough front for that. Creative, I haven't got any creative qualifications. PR, I'm not good at schmoozing. The only thing I could see was market research. And I did history at university, and I won a prize for an essay I wrote. And I thought, I can research. I mean, it's random like that. And then I had a relationship, very casual relationship with a woman who actually ended up working at the Tate Gallery. And she had worked, while she was waiting to get a job in art, she worked at this crazy market research company, and she said to me, those guys are crazy, you're a bit crazy, you're fitting very well. So I knocked on their door, all right? I just knocked on their door, and ended up them giving me a job. I mean, this is how I did. I just knocked on the door, and after work I knocked on the door. And I went back a couple of times, and I got offered a job, and they happened to be one of the most, what they did, prestigious companies in the world, pretty much. It was really balmy. And then when I discovered that I didn't know that planning existed. As soon as I knew that planning existed, I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do. Absolutely. Don't know why, I just knew that was exactly what I wanted to do. Because it was both creative and logical. And it was on the side of people, not really on the side of business. I just knew it was right. Well, the answer's going to be a bit of both, isn't it? I mean, I would imagine that you are so steeped in digital culture, there's not like I've got to learn in the same way that fogies like me have to go, I have to learn. People who are in power now, I don't think they're really conversant in that whole thing, like you guys are. And I think even for 10 years more, there's probably going to be a bunch of people who aren't as conversant as you guys are. And that's where people have to look towards people who are conversant to make things happen. And I think it's pretty easy to say over-index on the digital, because that's where there's going to be more money, more opportunity, less knowledge higher up in the corporate, whatever I mean by corporate, right? I don't just mean corporate, I could mean public services, I could mean charities, whatever. I think things like when clients say, we've really open brief, it doesn't help you, where do I start, right? I think, for example, unleashing natural power, right? Because it's specific, it's reasonably creative, and what's more important, it gives you something that you can take in this direction or that direction or that direction or that direction. It gives you options, and yet you can hold it up and say, does this work address, it's specific enough to use as a test for the work, but it's open enough to allow you to take it in different directions. And I don't think people understand that's what a good brief is about. Yeah, totally. Planners are bizarre, bonkers, and one of the things I frame myself, when I'm trying to explain, sometimes I say there's business people who talk about share and talk about profit and talk about unit cost and rate of sale and all that stuff that happens in whatever world they're in. And that's not useful often to designers or to creative people. It just gets in the way, it fugs people up. I think it reduces creativity. When I lived in the States, many more creative people get access to clients, and clients want access to creative people. And I think it makes the creative work worse, because it becomes more, the relationship changes, the mystique gets a bit lost, the ability to concentrate on the creative problem gets put subservient to servicing the client. In Britain, people are more concerned about, I think they're more about creativity. That's why British people tend to sell well abroad, because I think we have a greater integrity about the work. Yeah, so I think often being able to translate, because also clients go, it's a creative person, I'll tell you my life story, I'll tell you my business problems, I'll tell you and the creative person's going, how do I make any sense of this? Where's the idea? Where's the steer? Where's the thing? And the more the creative person asks for what's the little thing I can work with, the more the client's going, I need to increase my rate of sale, get my unit cost down, and it's part of this language issue. So someone, hopefully, one of the things I can do is to understand that, filter it, right? Sometimes creative people don't want that thing, they want to do all that themselves. And senior creative people need to translate as well, right? But that whole thing about translating what people want into what you do is a huge, if you can do it, it's part of my job. So I haven't got a lot of option. But when you get more senior, if you can talk that language a bit, it helps. You can call all the shots then. Well, you get to call more shots. Whatever your job is, whatever your project is, talk to real people about it, because so seldom does it get solved in the right way in your own head. And I think the best work I've ever done is where I've gone out and spoken to real people, understood where the market is, where they are, and tried to say, how can we do it differently? And then got really stuck into the creative people and really stuck into the client and ranted a lot and shouted and tried to charm people and whatever, and finally stuff gets done. It's a real, you've got to really immerse, it's a really, to make that stuff happen is a serious intensity.